긴 경기장 도시락.
All right, guys, here we are on Shakuris Plateau, and in the red from the team FXO, it is the coach, one who I've often called in person the Code B president himself. It is FXO.Choya. And in the upper left part of the map, from the team Vile, winning the last game, taking out FXO Gumiho, it is State.
Well, you've now called him the Code B president. You have to give us the abbreviated version of what that actually means.
Well, basically, in Korea, if you're the top of something, you're the president. You know, that's why they would. That's actually why they called MC Protoss president for a while. Because he was the top. Like when I just started playing, like early last year on the Korean server, I was in silver for a little while. I'm ashamed to admit, but it is Korea server. It's tougher. But the Korean casters would always call me silver president because I got to the top of the silver league and just kind of sat there for a little bit.
Yeah.
So yeah. So Choya right now, obviously, he's in Code B. He's not in Code A anymore. He was knocked out, but he and I would troll each other. And one of the things I would do is I would tell him that he was a great coach and a great player, and he'd be like, "Oh no, me bad, me Code B," and I'm like, "Well, B is higher than A. It's a higher letter. That's good, man. You're good. You're Code B president." And he's like, "No."
So
okay, there's more to it, but that's one of
no,
the
I understand. I like that.
Choya's my little Code B president.
Code B president,
Yep.
so cute too.
And
gave the best interview I've ever had. It was the best interview I've ever had, as a matter of fact. Gave the best answers. So
well, I gotta say too. I mean, Choya is easily one of the most supportive coaches in Korea. In all seriousness, he is there every single time one of his players plays. He's always there helping him out, and yeah, so couldn't really ask for a better coach in a lot of cases. So he is really good at what he does. The guy's so stressed out all the time, man. He runs a team. He runs the obviously the FXO players in Korea.
Sure.
But he's found some time to play today, so we'll see if he has what it takes to take out Choya.
Let's see here now.
Or State. He wouldn't want to take out himself.
Well, maybe. It could be
Maybe
self-destructive.
who knows?
We'll find out. So everyone's slowly leaving the game. I think that says nuclear backwards.
I think it might.
Anyway, so let's see here. As the State seeing everyone leave the game. We did actually have an 11-gate come out for Choya versus a 12-gate for State, but that's really been the only difference so far, of course. In PvP, it's largely comes down to second gas timing, how much chrono boost they're saving, things like that, which actually Choya saving a ton of chrono boost.
Well,
still going to have 75 here in a second.
Probably because he's going to 4-gate. We'll see what happens. The 4-gate is always good in PvP. It just kind of is. It's a strong build no matter what happens in the metagame. But Vile.State, I'm curious to see what he's going to do, actually. You know, I would think the very early gateway from Choya 2 would kind of suggest a 4-gate possibility, but there is a second gas, so I could be wrong. We'll have to see.
Well, see if Choya is going to throw us for a loop. Looks like he waited to put down second gas until State had actually left. So second assimilator there. We have a second gateway coming up and a third gateway. Maybe a Twilight Council following this. Find out here in a bit.
Maybe. It's possible. We'll have to kind of, again, wait and see. You know, I know I say that a lot, but there are points in the game where you do have to legitimately just wait.
Sure.
And see what the players do. So 3-gate for State, and he's only on 1 gas, so I'm imagining this is probably going to be a 3-gate expand from him. Normally, if you're going into something like Twilight, you would have your second gas by now.
One thing to note, though, is that Choya was actually sitting on 5 less probes than his opponent. Cut those way earlier, as a matter of fact. So we'll see how that's going to come into play now, as that's basically the entire difference in supply for our 2 players. Looks like he did just kill 1 probe there that was sitting outside of his base. Choya making his way out now.
He's got a lot of gas built up, too. I think you're right. I think we are going to see a Dark Shrine out of him soon enough. Nope, just warping in some sentries to stay safe. You know, he could actually be expanding, too. I mean, with the philosophy that the faster your Nexus gets down, the faster you can chrono boost out probes and catch up to whatever deficit you're at. Not a bad idea. Looks like both players are actually saving up close to 400. State just spent his to go 3-gate Robo, though, so a Robo facility coming out of him. And I think you're right. Looks like we may see a Nexus in just a second out of Choya. Crisp timing. 400 minerals and...
Well, waiting a little bit now.
Oh, come on,
Possibly.
Choya.
Nothing else is happening.
500 minerals and Nexus. With the spare 100 minerals. Talk about
crisp
saving.
Mwah.
Look at that
beautiful timings. We do
Thanks
have
a lot, Choya.
we have a robo coming up right after that. I really hope he's watching the broadcast. I don't even know what time it is over there, but
If he is, I love you, Choya. You know that. You so Gosu.
let's see here. So this is actually now with Twilight Council. So 3-gate robo Twilight Council.
Yep.
He'll use an observer for blink here in a second
blink
once
it
he gets that Twilight Council finished.
Yep. And the robo for Choya on the way as well. So and Choya does like his Colossi in every matchup. So wouldn't be surprised to see him do something like that.
And let's see here, as just waiting for that robo to finish up now, but Choya's certainly going to have his work cut out for him. He is producing units once again. Actually, State on 32 probes on one base, and that's a Warp Prism coming up. That is not an observer, so this is going to be a Warp in here in a second. Fourth gate being added as well.
Oh, I like it. This is awesome. What is he going to use the Twilight Council for? Okay, there it is, Blink. All right, so I was like, well, this is kind of weird. He's getting a Warp Prism, but he is going to go ahead and get Blink, too. Might just see some Zealot harassment in Choya's mineral line while he kind of stays a bit more defensive with the Blink, or he might just use a Warp Prism for Vision and then use that to get Zealots and Stalkers into his opponent's base, or just warp in Stalkers with it. There's a couple different options you could do with that.
Certainly a lot of options. You're absolutely correct, but I definitely think it's going to be the possibility of getting over there and making sure that he gives a Vision, yes, to those Blink Stalkers so they can make their way in, but just warping in Zealots around the ramp is so powerful.
Well, this is going to be really interesting, too. I mean, if he does just decide to use it to warp in Zealots instead of use that for a forward pylon and just warp it into a place where Choya is not really expecting, because he's gearing up for something at the ramp, which is where it would normally come in a PvP, but I really like this idea to use the Warp Prism to kind of get around that. That's so cool.
Oh, wow. He is really going to minimize the effect of the sentries as well. There's a lot of sentries on the low ground, but that's really going to be nothing here in just a second.
He's going to pull the units down. He may even decide to try to force field the ramp if he drops in the main and hits the front with Stalkers and pressures a little bit.
Yeah, certainly, depending on how much energy this sentry has sitting in there as well. So could warp in some more as well.
More by the second.
Yeah, that's quite a bit, as a matter of fact. And both players, let's see here, actually both players' supply were even a second ago, but Choya has pulled slightly ahead now. So looks like State just going to try and pick off a couple of units.
Did he catch a glimpse of that Warp Prism when he came down the ramp?
Ooh,
it was
good
close,
question. We're going to take a look at his
Looks
vision now.
like
Now he knows it's there.
And
let's see if he actually gets the force field. Yes, he does. A few units are up the ramp, but more importantly, actually 2 of the Immortals, as a matter of fact. They're both actually taking quite a bit of damage,
Where's the sentry? Where's the sentry? Did it stay alive?
No, it's dead. It's
dead.
Oh,
losing that sentry is kind of a big deal, actually.
He has killed. Oh, it looks like he did warp in a couple of Zealots as well to start pulling some probes off of the line right now. There's just 1 Immortal remaining now for Choya. Looks like State is down a little bit in supply overall. And, oh, good Blink Micro initially. Whoa, State just GG's and leaves.
Did something happen in his main base?
Let's see here. No, nothing at all. I think he just realized that was going to be it.
Well, yeah,
he does go down.
He wasn't going to win the attack, and Choya did have an expansion. I got to say, that was a little bit earlier GG than I expected, but okay.
All right, well, there it is.
I mean,
FXO.